Hi, I'm LaTonya G. Hilton, and you're watching the Silently Loud Confessions on YouTube.
The door is open, the doorway is free. The door is open and the pathway is a breeze, but as you head onto the road, the darkness weaves its evil way. You should have taken that other road.
Okay, a little word to the wise. Some skincare regimens are only for certain skin types, and some people, they have very little pimples and it works for them just fine. But if you have sensitive skin like I do, do not use the baking soda method. I had a pimple here that was probably about the size of this centerpiece there. I put this mixture of baking soda and olive oil and lemon juice, and I put my regular skincare stuff that totally worked for me for years, since I'm 45 years old now, and when I was 19 years old and when I was like 9 years old, I've been using the table salt, iodized table salt, on my pimples for years, and it was working perfectly. It got rid of all my pimples. I didn't have to worry about pimples for a long time. And then I wanted to close my pores, the pores, because I have these ugly, unsightly pores that I wanted to close. Just yucky, scary stuff. So I was using that skincare regimen that they insisted upon me using, and I left it on there for just a short span of time, and all of a sudden, yikes for sure, it was burning. Because see, I added the salt to it, because the salt I know for sure works. I knew if none of that other stuff worked, it would work. So yikes for sure for that. It was burning worse than usual. See, when you put the salt granules on the pimple, it'll burn if it's a little open, but if you leave the heavy granules on the big pimple and just the little light salt water on the regular pimples, they go away really quick. Like, I had a pimple that was, the size of this. I had a pimple that was that size once, and I put regular salt water on it without the granules, and I waited until it dried. I dusted it off, went in the mirror and looked, and it was half the size it was. So I got obsessed and put granules, because I was like, well, let's just get rid of this thing. And I got rid of it in one day. True story. Now, after I did that, I went a little crazy because I had a bunch of dots here and there, and I just put it on my whole face. But salt water, if you soak in it, it bleaches your skin out. Actually, what it's really doing is it's getting like the sun damage out of your skin and kind of returning it to its normal skin tones. But it kind of acts like bleach to your skin if you leave it on long enough. But if you overdo it, your skin gets dry. So I don't recommend you doing it all the time. Maybe like once a month or once every 2 or 3 months or something like that. But it's great for getting rid of pimples. Now, like I said, I put the little granules on there, and it was burning worse than usual. I took it off. It was so raw. I was just like, oh my goodness. So it like left this area right here. This area right here was all really raw, and it still looks raw. See how crazy it looks? And I'm a scab picker. I can't help myself. If it's dry and scaly, it's got to go. That's my mind about it. And I pick at it. Well, I've never had a scab make a dark mark like this. And this dark mark appears to be staying there. And I was like, oh my God, what have I done to myself? So, just a little word to the wise, if you have super sensitive skin, do not use the baking soda stuff. And if you use too much baking soda, I used some on my big toe because I had like a dark line across my toe, and so I used some on my toe to bleach the skin, and it was just strictly the baking soda, olive oil, lemon juice mix. I put it on there. It probably wasn't on there a whole entire 10 minutes. It might have been a little over 10 minutes, but not much. I took it off, and my toe was calloused. Now that was 2 or 3 years ago. My toe is still dry in that spot, and I've been nursing it, trying to get it to go back the other way, and it has taken me a long time. And I mean, most of the area is getting close to normal here. I will show you. See, this is what it looks like, and right here in this area it's calloused. It's because the baking soda stuff, it works. It makes, if you use it once in the bath, it makes your skin softer. But if you take a bath the second day, your skin will be drier because it is super concentrated, and what it's actually doing is pulling the moisture to the surface of your skin, kind of like salt does. Salt works like a sponge. It pulls the moisture to the surface of your skin. But if you use it too much, too often, it starts to dry your skin, and you don't want that, for sure. So you should never use very much of it. And you know, I'm no skincare specialist or anything like that. I don't have any kind of permits or whatever you need for that. But I know from experience that you should never overdo the baking soda, because it is super highly concentrated and it will have adverse effects on you. And so if you're gonna do it very sparingly, you know, like once a month or something like that. Don't do it every day, because if you do, you're gonna have results you don't want. You're gonna have more of a leathery face, and who knows, maybe you'll have a bunch of scabs, and you'll pick the scab, and next thing you know, you got something like this going on. So I just wanted to warn you. Now, because of the salt and what it does, and the lemon juice and what it does, I should be able to get this to go back to normal in not very much time at all. However, it is much darker than I have ever seen on my skin before. And usually when you have a pimple and you pick at the pimple, you end up with a dark mark or a pink mark on your skin, you know, from, you know, picking at it. And it's good not to do that. But I'm a scab picker. I can't stand scabs on my skin. It's disgusting. I want it gone. I pick it off until the thing heals up and is done. And done making scabs. That's what I do. But this particular time, I picked the scab and woke up the next day with a dark mark here. Right around in here, because it like kind of spread out. And so when I picked it, it made that look. And I'm like, it looks like a tattoo, like somebody tattooed me. And who knows, maybe they did. Maybe somebody played a practical joke on me, thought they were funny. Well, you're not. Anyway, I just wanted to give people a heads up about the baking soda, because it will dry your skin up. You will end up with leather face if you use it too much. So don't get too excited about it. Use it sparingly if you're going to do it. And I don't advise it for anybody who has sensitive skin, because when I used it, my skin went from not having any pimples on my chin at all. Now I've got a bunch of, you know, naughty pimples up in here from trying to get just this one. I put it over here on this, but when I rinsed it, it got on other parts of my skin, and even though I rinsed it a lot, I guess some of it was still there, and it broke me out instead, because I have super sensitive skin. The only thing that I have known to work on pimples is salt water. It totally gets rid of your pimples. And I think that what you should do is get a glass bottle with a lid, put the salt water in there. It doesn't matter. You can do like half salt and half water if you want. Shake it up, shake it around, and use a Q-tip to put it on the affected areas, and it works wonders. And you can even let it dry and wear it under your makeup. But I don't advise putting it all over your skin all the time, because like I said, it pulls moisture to the surface of your skin, and it might give you a glow for about a month or two, and then next thing you know, you start looking like you're drying up, because it's pulling everything you got out. Okay, so stay moist, drink plenty of fluids, and it's advisable to stay away from too much greasy stuff and sodas, because I used to be a soda hound, I used to be a chip hound, and I still am sometimes, and that's what made me break out. But when I used the salt water, it got rid of my pimples, and for years I had no problems until just recently. And I suspect it's because I went back to eating lots of chips and drinking lots of soda. Because when I got bored, you know, I go to the store, have something to do, eat some chips, drink some soda. Don't do that. Because not only will you start to look chunky from it, your skin will hate you too. Now, if you, like I said, right now, what I have on my skin right now is like a little bit of salt water, a little bit of toothpaste, and a little bit of olive oil. And I have this special blend of stuff that I use. It's my secret ingredient. I'm sorry, I cannot tell you about it. I am not ready yet. However, if you're nice to me, maybe I will. Anyway, you just have to have some common sense, you know. If you think it might harm your skin, do a skin test. Like find an area like maybe, you know, right here, someplace that's not like in here, and test it out to see what it does for a few days. You know, it's a very good idea to always test things out before you just go crazy with it, because just because it looks like it's working for someone else doesn't mean your skin type will like it, because people have different skin types. And so a lot of times on the DIY videos, a lot of people, they always forget to tell you what type of skin type that they have, because their skin type is not going to be your skin type. And so you have to be responsible for what you do to yourself, because if you don't, you'll mess your skin up, and you have you to blame because you didn't do the skin test. And also, you know, if you're going to put things in your hair, you know, you've got to be responsible. You know, if you don't do a test strand and you hate your hair afterwards, you have yourself to blame because you didn't do the test strand. So always do a test. That way, it's better safe than sorry. That's what I was always told, and that's a good thing to keep by. And, you know, especially when you're doing your hair and skin. I mean, you can get wild and crazy if you want to, because it's your hair and skin, but I have to tell you, when it starts looking bad, you know who to blame. Yourself. Okay, that said, I'm going to rinse the stuff off my face that I have on my face. Actually, you know, it's always a good idea to find out what vitamins and nutrients and such that your skin loves. anything that your skin loves might actually be really good to use topically, but some things have to be used internally, so you have to be careful, because some things might be a little too harsh for your skin to handle. But using things like vitamin A and vitamin E skin oil and things like that, those are good things to use to moisturize your face if you have dry skin. If you have oily skin, using something like baking soda would help dry it out a little better. But I don't advise going crazy with that. A little bit of oiliness is not so bad, because that oil is keeping your skin nice, and you know, it's keeping your skin nicer. So it's a good idea, a really good idea, to take care of your skin and to give your skin things that it needs. Now, putting harsh chemicals on your skin is just gonna tear it apart. Next thing you know, you have wrinkles and dry skin, and it's unable to breathe, so it dies underneath, and next thing you know, you've got all this saggy stuff everywhere. So you have to take care of it and keep it exfoliated and everything. And a good way to exfoliate your skin is using little salt granules to do that. You put little granules like this. I don't know if you can see that well enough. And you just take it and you rub it around on your skin lightly. And it exfoliates your skin and makes it feel smoother. And it really works. But the only thing that I've had problems with is trying to get rid of like the scar tissue. This is all due to abuse. I was abused, and that's why I have this problem here. And I was trying to get rid of scar tissue and, you know, things like this, these big pores and divots and things like that. I was trying to get rid of things like that, and that's why I tried the baking soda olive oil thing, because someone said that it worked in that fashion. But sorry, it didn't work for me, because my skin type is not the same skin type as the other person. Now, it might work for them because maybe they have, well, I have oily skin, maybe their skin is drier and it tightens up better for them, I don't know. But it did not take away my pores. It might have closed them a little bit, because these here closed up a little bit, but even though they closed up a little bit, the very next day when I woke up, it was as if I had done nothing to my skin. And all I did was make this problem happen. And the worst part of it is, this is just dark marks. Just some kind of weird dark mark. And I don't know if it's because my skin is so incredibly sensitive. It could be that. But whatever it is, be careful with that baking soda, okay? Alright. Have a wonderful day.